Good morning. I've just got out of the shower, so I'm coming to you fresh-faced and barefaced. I thought for this week's video, I would do something a little bit crafty with you. I've been feeling a little bit kind of stifled in terms of creativity this month. I'm also in the middle of the world's biggest book. I'm currently reading A Little Life, which is enormous, and I'm only that way through. So I can't really talk about books at the moment because I'm in the middle of that book. But in the meantime, while I'm actually finishing that book, I need to think of something to do. God, I look like I've got no hair again. So yes, I was trying to think of something creative to do. And one of the things that I've wanted to do for a really, really long time is recreate a pinafore. Not a pinafore, like an apron or a pinnet. But basically, there is a scene in Sense and Sensibility, one of my favourite period dramas, where Elinor Dashwood, in both of them actually, the 1995 one with Kate Winslet and Emma Thompson, and also 2008 one with Hattie Monaghan and I can't remember her name. Anyway, both of those have a scene where Elinor Dashwood is wearing a pinnet. And it's one of those things that I go downstairs at the end of every day and I start my work, I start cooking for the dinner. I usually get like water on me or sometimes end up with food splashing on me, and I think I'd really like a pinnet. Now, I could literally go and buy a £10 pinafore off Amazon, one with like a funky quote on the front of it or something like that. But me being me, I wanted to do a historical reaction one, a historical recreation. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do in this video. Now, bearing in mind my sewing skills are not great, but that's what we're going to do in this video. It may be chaotic, it may be crap, it may not work, it may take me a very long time to create. I'm hoping to try and make it in a week. Not sure if that's going to work, but I need to put my towels away. And then I'm going to go and have a look. So I found a picture of Emma Thompson in the pinnet from the old version of Sense and Sensibility, but I also have the 2008 period drama on DVD because, I was that person in university that took all their period dramas on DVD to university with them. I know. And yet I wonder why I never had a boyfriend whilst I was at university. Anybody else have this cupboard of like random DVDs? I thought I had the old Sense and Sensibility as well. I have the 2008 version there. Is it in the container? It is, bloody hell. It's got dust on it, it's that old. So that's that one. I need to put it in the DVD player. Right, I need to find the scene that I was meaning. Who remembers that sound from BBC DVDs? Guaranteed Gen Z won't remember what that sound. I'm going to have to mute that. Because otherwise I'm going to end up getting copyrighted. Who remembers top menu and title menus? So we want episode selection. We want episode 3. Is it going to let me select my scene? It is. Let's go on scene 5 and then I can fast forward. Right. Haha. That's what we want, that pinnet. So this is the apron that we want to do. There we go, that's a good shot. So I will take a screenshot of that and see if we can make it larger. So there's that one, here we go. That's what I want to recreate, that pinnet. Okay, so actually what you can see quite interestingly here is you can see the mother's from the side and Eleanor's from the front. What we need to do now is take that footage that I've just filmed upstairs and I'll have a look at it on the computer. I'll take some stills and we will have a look and see what we can make. But I've got a pretty clear idea of the style in my head. The other thing I want to do is I want to compare that we've just seen to the Emma Thompson version in the, I'm saying 1995, but it might not be 1995, version of Sense and Sensibility, because I'm sure there is a scene where Emma Thompson has a pinny on as well, so we'll have a look at that. But I'm going to make my coffee because I got too excited and I started looking at the DVD before my coffee had even brewed. So I'm going to make my coffee. I'm going to go and have a look on the computer at what to do next. I'm so excited. I'm such a nerd. So this is the apron that we are looking to create. This is Elinor's, and this is the 2008 version of Sense and Sensibility that we are watching. But basically what we can see here is that there is a band that comes across the waist. Now this is also the ties that go around the back. Now we'll show this in the next scene that we look at, because we could see it from the side. The mother was wearing a similar one as well. And then it seems to be maybe a rectangular bust panel which is gathered at the bottom so that it comes in slightly. This bit is gathered here as well, and both of those gathers are sewn into the waistband. And then up the side is actually the strap, but the strap seems to come all the way down. It hems the side of this panel here and attaches into the waistband as well. So really it looks like we need a big panel for the apron, a small panel for the bust. We need this one long strip that will become the two ties for the back, and then we need two more strips for the shoulder straps, and that looks to be it. So let's see if we can find the other scene that I recorded. Right, here we are. Sorry, Hattie Monaghan, the actress. That is not a very flattering face. But what we see here is we see the mother's pinny in a little bit more detail. So we can see that the strap goes around the side. We actually saw a tiny, tiny glimpse there. I'm not sure how easy it's going to come up. There, can you just see a little bit of where the strap meets the back? So that's quite interesting, because there's a big gap here between where the waistband is and the back of the strap, so I'll have to bear that in mind. So that's quite interesting. The straps almost want to come right back to the middle of your back, and then here, look, you can see the tape hanging down. So it's literally where they knot it, more or less, is where the strap. And actually you can see really nicely here on the mother's how the tape comes all the way down. So you can see that that is used to hem this panel. Yeah, so they're obviously meant to be very easy to remove items, very kind of quick to whip off. So yes, that's that one. Let's have a look and see if we can find the Emma Thompson one now as well. This is the version from the 1995 Sense and Sensibility with Emma Thompson. So as we can see, very, very similar. And in this really great shot that somebody's put together, you can actually get a look at the front and the back of the pinny at the same time. And it's very, very similar to the 2008 version. You can even see that here down the side, the strap looks to be being used as the edging strip for the top panel again. And here at the side, we can see that the strap, the waistband, comes all the way around, and you get even better chance to have a look at how those straps come all the way back and meet kind of in the middle. The one thing we don't seem to see here is any kind of tie. Maybe we should do some Googling and see if we can find any extant historical garments. So I just wanted to show you that one as well, because that's the other kind of piece of inspiration. I'm loving this, by the way. You might be hating this video, I'm sure you're not, but I'm absolutely loving it. I'm having the best time. Okay, so I've been trying to find extant Regency aprons, and there don't seem to be any pictures of extant examples. I did find some good pictures of Elinor. So I found that picture, which shows the front. I don't know if it shows the back. Let's have a look. There we go. This is what we wanted. So that is the back of, that is Emma Thompson in Sense and Sensibility. So what we can see from here is that actually it does fasten with a button. Look at that. Sorry, it's really hard to see, but it does fasten with a button. That's it. I'm so glad we found that picture, because now we've got a really good view of the front and the back, so we know what we're going for. Please excuse the wild hair. It is huge. It's big enough to hide all my secrets. It's very frizzy. I basically had a go at trying that scrunchy heatless curl method, but yeah, that's why the hair is big at the moment. I'll try not to play with it, but I can't guarantee. It's time to choose some material that we can use to make the pinny. I have got some material in mind. Right, so let's have a look. It's this. Now, it is obviously very stripy. I suspect that that could cause some problems when it comes to like matching up the pattern, but I do have quite a lot of it. So what I think is that this would make, it's quite lightweight as well. You can see through it quite easily. It's quite a lightweight linen. I'm not sure if it's a pure linen or whether it's like a linen cotton blend, but I feel like that would be a nice material to use. I think what I'll do first is I'll iron this, and then we'll come back and we'll try and kind of measure out and create some shapes to cut out. Exciting! So then what I did was laid the fabric over this coffee table in the bedroom and cut out lengthways so that we had one large piece to make up the main body of the apron. And then here I am just cutting out the straps. These are going to be folded in half and sewn to make into the straps. We have a strap. So if we imagine this folded in half, because what I will do is I will fold it in half, iron it, and then I'll sew down one side and then I'll fold it in on itself and iron it again. So that's one. So we need to do another one for the other arm, and then we need a strap for around the middle, don't we? Okay, so let's cut another one of these. I'll have a look at the remaining piece of fabric and see if we can cut that up to make the little bodice, the square bit for the bodice, and the main panel. And then we'll go from there. Forgot to press record. So I've cut out the other strap. So I've now got the other arm strap here. Right, so this is the size of the fabric. 'Tis huge, and I think realistically probably wants to go, maybe if I make it that length. Okay, so literally like that length. That's very technical. Okay, so we've got a couple of pins in. So now what we can do is pull that over. And then what I did at this point was I actually measured the length that I wanted for the bodice piece, and I measured it all along the fabric because this had quite a lot of stretch to it, and so I needed to make sure that I was cutting as straight a line as I possibly could. And it actually worked quite well. It wasn't perfect, but it did work quite well. That's about the least straight line you've ever seen in your life, but never mind. Right, now we need to work out the bust bit. So, already kind of hemmed, we can tuck that under like that and create the top of the bodice bit. Maybe cut it off about there. We've now got this here, which will kind of become the top bit of the pinny and then can be gathered in as we go into the bit where the strap will go across, and then all of this can be cut off. This is where normally I would lose confidence because I don't really know what I'm doing and wimp out, but I'm not going to wimp out this time. So what I'm thinking is, I don't know how big we need to do the folds. I don't know how people normally do them. You put a thread in and then you pull the thread and it kind of gathers it all up together. I've remembered. Okay, but does that happen before or after we seam it? How do you fold it over on the inside? I think you fold the thing underneath and you fell it down on the top. Right, okay. You've just seen me well and truly zone out with my face there. So I think what I need to do now is I need to iron my straps so that then I can sew along the ironed half. Now, do I go for a waistband made out of the same fabric, or do I go for a waistband that's made out of something different? But if I was going to go for a waistband out of something different, I would have to make the straps out of something different. Nope. Same material. And then this is the waistband that I cut out the same fabric and folded it over. It is enormous. It's very thick at this point, but it does get cut down, so the waistband does not end up this thick in the final product. Right, well, we've cut everything out. We've ironed everything. So now it's time to start sewing. What poppet? Little poppety woppety puss. Do you want to come and say hello to the video? Oh, come on, you can put your arms up. Oh, yes. Oh. Now be careful, this is my brand new top. Don't go putting holes in it with your claws. Careful. Say hello to the camera. You're not looking at it. You're not looking. No, it's in front of you. In front of you. It's in front of you. He doesn't want to say hello to the camera. And then it was time to get started sewing. So I did a running stitch here along the seam of the strap. I'm just sewing up the straps at the moment. It's really hard to pick my needle up off the desk. I'm just sewing a running stitch along the edge of the strap, and then I'll be able to turn it the right way out and iron it nice and flat. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Right, I finished my strip. I have sewn it all up. And now I am trying to turn it the right way out. And I'm just feeding it through all the way. Now, in a perfect world, I'd be able to feed this all the way to the end and then pull it through in one kind of fell swoop, but I can't do that. So I'm doing that, and then what I am doing is kind of trying to pull it over the edge like this. I don't know if this is going to work. How do people do this kind of stuff normally and make it look so easy? You know how like my videos are always a bit chaotic? I've got to the end. I have my strip. I'm hoping if I can, excuse me. I did a thing. I think it's worked. Oh, is that ripped the seat? No. Good. It's good. Yes, we have a strap. Awesome. Okay, I didn't think that was going to work as well as it did. So what we now need to do is need it to the iron, and we need to iron it flat. There we go, we have one completed strap. So it's folded up at the moment on top of each other, but it will come over like this, and then it will sit down on the side of that pinny. There is an ice cream van outside. You'll have to just listen to the ice cream van in the background. Hopefully it doesn't copyright me. I've just finished pressing my second strap. So we now have both of the straps. I've tried to get the pattern and the placement of the stripes same so that as it goes up, it will look like it matches, which I'm really happy about. So now the next thing to do is to start on the main pieces themselves. That has been pinned all along here. So now what I need to do is just do a row of back stitches across the top to create a seam. Good morning. I wasn't planning on doing any filming today because I'm going out tonight to see the Barbie film. And I knew I wasn't going to have time to do sewing during the day. However, my computer is updating, so it's got at least kind of 15 minutes left. So I've just been having a look at what I did last night in terms of sewing. So let me show you what I did off camera. Last night I did this, which is the top edge of the bodice, so the bit that's kind of going to go over my bust. This is going to be the very top. And I folded it over twice, and then felled it down with, they're not going to fit, there you go, tiny little felling stitches along the top of that. The only thing I needed to do was hem the top, which has now been done. So what I think I'm going to do is attach the straps to either side and then look at putting the straps on the side before we then gather it in. So I think that's what I'll do while my computer updates, because as you can see, it's got quite a long way to go. And what I just want to do now is arrange this so that it covers up the brown underneath, like that. Can you see how the stripes? You can kind of see on camera how the stripes continue, but yeah, that is the intention. Those are all in. So now at some point I can fell that down, and then I'll just show you what I'm briefly going to do on this side. What I'll do is I'll cut this bit off here. Once I've sewed that length down there where the pins are, I'll cut this excess off. And then what I'll do is I'll fold it in like that, and then I'll probably fell both down together. I don't know if you can quite see that. And if I put them all down together like that, you can just see there the two layers together, then I can kind of fell everything together. Okay, so I have just finished attaching the strap. You might be able to see there, this is where I attached it. Again, very kind of small felling stitches. And then the last thing I've just done is I've just trimmed off the excess fabric here. So what I need to do is I need to fold this under and then match it up. And then what I'll do is I'll just stitch across to seal those together. Right, okay, so that is pinned. So I pinned that. So when that is kind of, so what I will do is I will sew along the line here and kind of just gather it all up, and I'll put some footage in of me doing that. But then when that's done, that will be the strap attached at one side. And this is obviously the top, and this is the side strap. Good morning, YouTube. It is Friday morning and it is very warm in England today. So I'm sorry that there's a lot of flesh on show. Well, no, I'm not sorry, because I'm cool and so I'm happy. I've got the iron on because I think the last time I checked in with you on camera was when I was sat at the desk doing a few little hemming things. I have cracked on a little bit since then, but it's boring stuff. So I'm going to show you where I've got up to and then why I am stood at the iron. So this is what I have been doing off camera. I think I spoke to you when I was attaching one of these seams. So this I put down with a little fell stitch. You can just about see it on the side. There, you can see them there, little fell stitches to kind of stitch that side down. And then, so that's attached. So this is the front, this is the bodice part. And then these are the side straps that we saw. And at the side, I did a little, I don't know if it's a whip stitch or whatever it's called. So now we have a bodice, which is, to be honest, more or less finished. It just needs to be gathered on the bottom. But I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move on to the actual skirt panel. I'd like to get that edged because I think I'm going to try and do the same that I did here, is put a hem on it. Yeah, let me quickly show you what this looks like at the moment, kind of over my body. Imagine that these are like attached at the back. It will kind of sit like that. This is all experimentation, and so far I'm really happy with it. I'm also happy with the fact that I managed to get the stripes kind of in line with each other, so you can't really tell too much that the straps come down the side. That was purely accidental when I made the straps, but it was, I did do it on purpose when I came to line the straps up with the bodice because I wanted to make sure that they did fit in. Right, so that is done for now, so I'll pop that down there. In fact, what I do want to do with that is I just want to iron the straps and iron the garment. So I might just do that and then I might hang it up somewhere and then I'll show you what I'm doing with the skirt. So I really can't show you this while I'm doing it because I don't have a free hand. I could get the tripod in here and set it up, which I might do for the other side here. But I've just been turning the edge over and pinning it into place with a million zillion pins. Right, there we go. So we've got a pinned hem. So I think I'm just going to leave that one there because it's getting on for 9 o'clock and I've got to start work soon. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll stitch all along here. So that's probably the next footage you'll see. Okay, so we have finished one of the long hemlines. It goes all the way down there. So that is by far the longest bit I've ever hemmed, the longest piece of fabric. And actually, I am so happy with it. So now I've just got to do the bottom and then I've got to do the other side, but I'm going to leave those for the evening. I did intend to leave the sewing off for that evening, but actually after we'd been out for a drink with some friends, we came home and I decided to just do a little bit more. Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning and I've just finished the second long seam on the front of the apron. On the opposite side is done. That's what I did and showed you last time. This is the top raw edge that's going to get gathered. So the only other thing to do is this bottom edge. Now, I was tempted to leave it because it's a selvage edge or selvage edge. So I was tempted to leave it because it's not going to fray because of the way that it's been created. But I think I just like the idea of it being hemmed all the way. So I think what I'm going to do is just fold it over and do a little hem on the bottom. I can definitely see now why seamstresses have workbenches, because it's so much easier to fold and pin on a straight line, on a straight surface like this. That feels like such a nicer line of kind of pinned hem. So I'm going to take this into the office and I'm going to hem all of this. It's a little bit later on Saturday afternoon now, and I have finally finished the big skirt panel, which I think I showed you, and then I've just been doing the waistband, which I'll be honest, I forgot about. So I was getting all optimistic about finishing this today. So I've just spent like the last 4 hours doing that, but that is done now. So now we get onto the bit that I haven't got a clue really how to do, and that is doing, oh, please excuse my scampy fries. I was just having a snack, is to put the gathering stitch in here. So what I've got here is I've just waxed some thread And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a running stitch just through here, probably about an inch up from the bottom, or a centimetre up from the bottom, sorry. And then when that stitch is in, you pull the stitches kind of and pull the fabric along it so that the fabric bunches up, and that's how you create gathers. So I didn't get any footage of me actually creating the gathers, but you can see here the gathers have all been arranged on the back of the waistband, and there's an awful lot of pins in here because what you basically do is you separate out each gather and then pin it onto the waistband. And then what I'm doing here is with a simple back stitch, I'm going over all of those pins and all of those gathers and making sure that they are secured down to the waistband. So I didn't get a chance to film, like I say, pulling the gathers in and pulling that thread, but hopefully from this image here where you see me sewing it, you get a sense of how the material comes together and how it gets pinned to the waistband. And once that was all sewn from the back, I then turned the whole apron over so it was on the front, and I felled the waistband down over the top of those gathers. So the skirt is attached to the waistband both from the back and from the front with this fell stitch. Oh my god, look, I've done the first bit of gathering. It looks so pretty. There is an awful lot of work involved in it though. I didn't realise how hard it was going to be. But look, and the straps have all been kind of tied behind. But yeah, it's starting to really come together into a pinny now, like all the pieces are coming together. Okay, so you can kind of see where it's at the moment. I'm not going to lie, I gathered it a little bit more than I meant to, so I didn't mean it to be quite this narrow. It'll be up like that, and then if you can imagine the skirt, I'm actually gonna fit around here, so the skirt and the bodice won't be in the same place because I want the skirt to come kind of all the way around. Yeah, I'm so happy with my kind of gathering. To say that that's the first time I've ever tried it. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it for Saturday. I do only have one more day to finish the project, which I definitely will get done because that whole kind of gathering, attaching and sewing down only took me, I think, about an hour and 45 minutes. So if I assume kind of double the amount of time because there'll be double the amount of space to sew down. So I'm thinking it might take me like 2-3 hours tomorrow. It indeed did not take 3 hours to finish the project. It took a lot more, but I do love past Charlotte's proclivity for optimism. To finish off the whole thing. And then I've just got a couple of little finishing things to do. It is Sunday afternoon. I am just testing the apron because I have finished adding the waistband. I mean, there's a few different things that I would do slightly differently now. For example, I still think this panel is far too big and it's too high. It's too kind of long there. But for now, I'm really kind of pleased that I've actually made this into a functional thing. The back is very almost there. I'm going to ask Tom if he would very kindly film the back of me. So this is the back where I've got it to at the moment. I've just been kind of moving the straps around because I want them to be in the same position at the back. But when I first put them on, they were kind of coming out here. And as we discussed earlier in the video, I want them to be further back. So I've just done that. The only thing I'm not 100% happy with is the tie. I just feel like having a button will be a lot better because it'll mean that the two things just meet up really neatly as opposed to it all kind of being scrunched together in the middle. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the straps down to the bit that I wanted them to be at, and then I'm going to put a button and a buttonhole in, and then it'll be done. Ah, how exciting! Oh, Charlotte. Oh, after all of this time, I've sewn it on the wrong way. Just sat here doing literally one of the last jobs on the apron, and I've just realised I've done it the wrong way around. So I'm just attaching the straps to the waistband, and this is the outside of the waistband, and this is the strap. And I meant to put the strap behind the waistband and sew it onto the onto the waistband, but behind, so the waistband was continuous all the way along. So I think I'm just going to keep it, and it's going to be a beautiful flaw in the apron. But I just wanted to be open about it because this is what happens when you do things for the first time. Right, I've just attached the straps. We had a minor drama, but because I went wrong there, so that had been sewed on, I went to cut it across there and I cut it too short. So it like came up, because my original idea was tuck it under, seam it along the edge, and then it would just be one straight strap coming down to the bottom. I cut it incorrectly. So then I folded it and made this kind of like diagonal style instead. So like a diagonal strap fastening. So then what I did was I thought, well, if I've done it on one side, I should probably do it on the other. So that's what it looks like. I did the diagonal strap closing on the other side as well. So we are pretty much finished. I could put this on now and tie it at the back and be done. But I think last thing I do want to do is I want to add a buttonhole and a button and buttonhole, I think.
Not my gumdrop buttons.
Beg your pardon?
Not my gumdrop buttons.
Right, so we need to pick a button, and I have this little packet of buttons and bobby pins at the bottom, and we're going to choose a button. I think I'm going to go for this one because in the picture it was a very natural looking button that Elinor had on the back of her apron. Hello everyone, it's done. It's actually done. I've actually finished the apron. This is the whole thing. It's huge. And honestly, it has been an absolute marathon to get this done in a week. I think if I was doing it on a sewing machine, it would have been so much faster. I could have had little breaks in between. Like, it's pretty much taken me most of the weekend to finish it off, and then evenings throughout the week, because obviously I work full time, so I haven't had time to kind of do this during the day. But it is finally here. It's finally done. So I've been looking down there, you've probably seen all my chins again. So let's put this on. So as you can see, it's got arms that become the straps as well. And I've popped this dark dress on so that you can actually see the contrast of the pinny against the dress. So it goes on like this. So there we go. It's a bit homemade, as it obviously looks. I did not do very well with the proportions of this bust bit. It's far too big. In hindsight, a shorter one would have been a lot better. But I do kind of like the fact that it's quite a flexible, and then the waistband is nice. Again, it's not tight at all. There we go. Oh, that's better. That's how I wanted it. So, yeah, a little bit kind of further down at the back, which does pull the neckline up again. It pulls that up then very high. So I don't know, what I might do is I might cut down and cut in and then re-hem the top just to make that look a bit nicer. But overall, I love the back. The back is exactly how I pictured it from the photo. Obviously I can't see the back now, but I'll be able to see it when I edit. But it just, the bit that I can see, it looks like the photo. And I really wanted the straps to kind of come in and be quite near the buttonhole as they are in the photo. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with the back. To be honest, I'm happy with the whole thing. Like, oh, honestly, I'm going to have to try and get a full length shot to show you. I just love it, the whole thing. It's so swooshy. And there's so much material here. Like, I know that like back in the day, you would use your apron for like picking things up and carrying things. And there's so much fabric here that you could do that with easily. Really, really easily. It's so fun. Honestly, I am completely and utterly nerding out at how amazing this is. I get it. I get cosplay now. Like, people cosplaying. I totally get it. I always thought it was a bit like, why would people be like so into cosplay? I get it. I feel like Elinor would. Edward is here. Edward. 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 I need to stop. Please, somebody stop me. We'll come back. I'll take this off because, to be honest, it's going to my head a little bit. So I'm going to take this off, and maybe tomorrow, when I've slept on it and the euphoria has kind of come down to a reasonable level, I will go over some of the little details and tell you kind of what I would do differently and what's next, because I mean, the world's my oyster, clearly. I am now going to become a seamstress. No, I'm not. But I do want to make a dress. So that is the end of the video. I am really excited to put this apron into action. Yeah, I absolutely love it.